guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Pokemon Duel. My throat is like gone. Last night, if you didn't know, was like one of the biggest boxing matches that has ever happened in England. Vladimir Klitschko versus Anthony Joshua, and I'm so glad we got bought tickets to go to Wembley to watch it. 90,000 people, all pretty much the majority of them rooting for Anthony Joshua, and oh my god, it was the best boxing match I've ever seen. It was just incredible. The atmosphere was insane. Typically you're thinking, hey, all Saturday I was doing that, so would I have got time to play Pokemon Duel? Hell yeah, we got a coach down there. 3 hours I got to play Pokemon Duel and concentrate on getting my rank into the top 1,200. So this is the deck I have been grinding away with. Same to the deck that I put in the last video, except, you know, Elad, you did say you put a runner in. Why the hell don't you have a runner? And Phantom needs to be in there. Phantom is awesome. Phantom has the ability to pass through Pokemon. It has a great Protect and a 3-star Confused Ray. It has the ability to evolve into Trevenant, who is a really great Pokemon to have when other people have grass types. And or just, you know, a powerful Rock Smash, powerful Destiny Bond, and that 3-star Manipulative. He has to be in my squad, and he was justified in a lot of battles I had. Leafeon, great switch for Sceptile, just for that advice, Elad, because I needed a runner. You know, when you start a match and you start with the 1 MP move, it's not good. He was giving me the ability to get into places quick and block entry points quickly. So, and I love that Grass Whistle, the ability to put somebody to sleep. So I got 3 hours there, I was grinding away, and I just up, down, up, down, up, down. Finally it ended up like 1,300, and I ended there. You know, so any more wins would take me higher. Then did all that, buzzing after Wembley, came back, and so on the bus trip back, 3 hours again, just wow, I was killing it. Like a 7 streak I must have hit, something, and there we have it, 718. I was ranked. Where did we end the night on? We ended the night on 641, and that's awesome because that means over the course of like what, more than 8 hours, I went down 100 places, less than 100 places, which means that in the next there's 2 hours left from when this video drops. I'm guaranteed, let's face it, I'm guaranteed a top 1,200 finish, and I'm staying there. Played a few good N clans. Shout out to Entrono. Every time I play an N clan, I'm always like, I'm in my head like keeping a right, I'm 1-0 versus them. I'm 1-0 now, because I don't know, it's just quite a fun. Like, I like having clans out there to play against. So good game against you. It was a really good game. Played another N clan. I think he beat me. What the? Why is N Whale in, like, has he got 4 accounts? What? That's insane. Anyway, I'm guaranteed to get those 30 ticket boosters, and some people are asking what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to spend them straight away. I don't think I am. With the recommended booster that we've got at the moment, I don't think there's good enough Pokemon for me to go at it. You know, Dialga and Palkia. Got Palkia ×3, I think now. Dialga still don't have a Blastoise. Empoleon, Virizion, Sceptile, Trevenant got, but I'm saving mine. I'm going to try hold off. I've got 37 then, single booster tickets, and I'm going to open them at the next recommended booster, because I think I have a strong enough water deck with some water Pokemon and grass Pokemon for the next Gym Cup. So with that aside, let's look at the next Gym Cup. What is it going to be? Evidence suggests that it's going to be a water grass tournament. We all thought it would probably be a water electric, I'm pretty sure, because of that's been in the past with the Japanese tournament, and so far we haven't had any repeated types being used. And grass type obviously was a grass gym last time, so now we have a grass featuring again, this time with the +20 AP attack power. So, and this is based on the fact that we've got a water grass time booster. So that's typically been the course, or whatever you get in there has now been the next Gym Cup. So what does that mean? It means we've got a grass moving at an extra 1 MP for 2 and 1 MP Pokemon, and sorry, did Did I say water? Water moving at... So, what does that mean? We've got... So, what does that mean? That means we've got water moving at +1 MP for 2 and 1 MP Pokemon. That means we have grass with 20 attack points to white and yellow attacks. Some really heavy hitters in the grass department. Venusaur is going to be insane. So today I'm going to be looking over the water types and the grass types and seeing what teams will probably kind of take up most of the percentage of teams that people are putting out there, how they're going to be effective, how some might be effective in combination. There is loads to choose from. That is, from a start, there is so much to choose from in this deck, in this Gym Cup. So best way to do that is, let's go look at material exchange, and let's just start with the water first. So everybody, I think, with the water deck is pretty keen on putting out, you know, we see water decks anyway and they're strong on their own, but Manaphy is definitely going to feature in this tournament. +1 MP means you can finally get this guy out quick enough. You know, for me, I don't like using water decks because I don't like relying on a 1 MP Pokemon. When this Pokemon is on the field, your water type Pokemon will do 20 damage. So that is +20 to every water attack on the field. And with Manaphy's Song as a 2-star purple attack, this means you're going to be able to move one of the water type Pokemon on the field that is not asleep or frozen within their MP range, and that Pokemon gains weight. So a cool kind of like tactical side of thing, but this guy's so vulnerable to yellow attacks. And with Bubble only being at 20, you know, even a Greninja can take this guy out, even once he's got his +20, which is as soon as he hits the field. That Bubble basically is a 40 attack. But we've also got, you can rock 2 Manaphys, and I've seen people using this. 2 Manaphys gives you +40, and even 3 Manaphys +60. So that would be +60. That bubble attack will become 80. So with all these on the field, it could still be a fairly strong Pokemon. So I would only say use 1 and 2 though, because you do want some strong, and there are some great water Pokemon to put out there. Empoleon, this guy has been buffed obviously since the last update. The biggest thing about this guy is diving entry, I think, because it's such a good... I'm not going to have to use a long throw with this guy. I probably will have one of these guys in my team. You know, he's got some great move sets, and this diving entry gives you the ability to dive away from the entry point on one of the locations, regardless of whether somebody is blocking your goal, your entry point. So good tactically. Really annoying it when there's 2 of these on the field. I played a team with the 2 of them, and when you're trying to win a game by pinning entry points, they just keep coming. And it's better than Heatran, I believe, because Heatran comes out, attacks, then goes. So when you've got, let's say you've got somebody, you're blocking your goal, you've got somebody on the outside of your goal, and you've got somebody on your entry point. From that position, they're 1 move away from a guaranteed win, unless you've got Mew and you can do a psychic shove, and Empoleon will be able to jump in between them and prevent that from happening in the next go, whereas Heatran will attack if it hits purple against purple and it's not strong enough. It will go back and they'll still be able to do that. So Empoleon's going to be really good for getting wins at the end, for preventing those kind of wins at the end with diving entry. We've got Ice Beam with 70. Remember, with Manaphy that will go higher. Ice Beam is a brilliant attack. You know, if you got 3 Empoleon and you're rocking Ice Beams all over the shop, you could expect to see a lot of people frozen on their team, and that can make it really difficult when it comes down to that 4v4 towards the end of matches. So I'm tempted to even rock 3 of these guys. Aqua Jet 30, a nice yellow attack, so he's got some variability there, but then Hydro Pump as well at 90, which, remember, with Manaphy plus 20, 110, 130 if you've got 2. And it will have 3 MP. So a real strong Pokemon now. Finally, Empoleon, it was my 2nd ever EX, and we see some strengthening now. Greninja sadly will not get any real buff to his MP, which is a shame because imagine a 4 MP Greninja. But we're going to have Hydro Pump and Water Shuriken, which are strong attacks in combination with Mana Fees on the deck, on the field, will make him strong. Whether he's going to be strong enough, we might see, you know, actually with the Mana Fees being able to get on quicker, we might see Frogadier evolves, or even Froakie, you know, for that matter, because if you've got a Mana Fee, Water Gun's going to go from 50 to 70 or potentially 90, and with a, you know, with an X attack you could easily get involved with this guy, but you've got Toxic Spikes there as well and a dodge, which could make it less likely of hitting that attack to get a knockout. So a difficult evolve, I think. Keldeo, again, no MP buff. You're just going to see a buff to attacks with the Mana Fees if possible, and you know, you're not going to see any of the dark type Pokemon on the field really, with it being a water grass gym cup. So Greninja and Keldeo, I'd probably still run Greninja, just because it's such a great yellow disc and there's very few in the water deck, so I'd probably still run one of them. Blastoise, this guy, I really don't rate him. I mean, I'm glad I don't have him. I'm not glad I get it, but I'm glad I got other EXs instead of him, because that Mirror Coat, it just sucks. It's a really crappy move. With the evolve into Wartortle, it can finally become 3 MP and, you know, actually potentially come into effect. But the only thing it can beat is 1 star, so it has to really become 3 star to become more effective. Hydro Pump, you know, Blastoise at 3 MP, okay. Hydro Pump at 110. I just think there's grass Pokemon that with their buffs will easily beat him. So Blastoise for me is not in the equation for me. Palkia though, we have Dragon Claw 70 and 70 with the plus 20s with Mana Fee, Spatial Rend 140 with the Mana Fee. You know, we're going to see potentially other Palkias. We're going to see a lot of Spatial Rends ties. Oh my god, that right, has anybody done that? Let me know. Palkia v Palkia, Bush, Spatial Rend, battles a tie. Do they both get removed from the battle? That would be cool to see. But like, with, if you think about it though, if you're battling a Blastoise deck, get that 20 plus on the Mana Fee, bang, your Spatial Rend is gonna win and knock him out the duel. So anybody with 100 attacks in the water deck are gonna be vulnerable to that in combination with a Mana Fee. And if the opponent has a Palkia, oh no, I got 2 Palkia. I thought I had 3. Oh well. So they're the EXs. In terms of waters, Vaporeon for me is one of the worst evolutions, and it's obviously going to be a runner, but we're going to have runners in the form of other Pokemon with a plus 1 MP, so I'd probably go for others over him. The Tentacle combination you could go for with the plus 1 MP. You could get those tentacles out fast. We're not going to see a lot of poison types, I don't think, enough to get them the buff that they need to. Lapras with a plus 1 MP, good up. You know, if you're really weak on, if you're really like you have very few EX figures, Lapras is a great Pokemon. You know, when he was one of my first pulls, and he yeah, I think you got a free booster at the very start of the game. I think Lapras was my first pull actually, and Sing is just a great thing to have in your deck. At 3 MP, it'll be a good runner. Surf and Pound, you know, with the plus 20 MP from AP from Mana Fee, he'll still be a good Pokemon to have, and he cannot be frozen. And other than that, there's, for me, you know, Poliwhirl is definitely one of the stronger uncommon Pokemon. Tactically, with that ability to shift segments by shift opponents' wheels by 2 segments, can be really good if you pit them against the right people. And it's a shame we don't have Poliwrath. Oh yeah, 1, 2. This is Politoed as well. It's a shame we don't have those evolves, because he's going to be really cool, and I'd quite like to see that in this Gym Cup. But you know, the big consensus seems to be like that Kyogre is going to be coming out. And so here we have what Kyogre looks like. We have, this one's obviously had the chain level increased, so we'd have a 50 break energy, ability to break energy plates. We'd have Tidal Wave,
with 1 MP, and that gives all neighbor Pokemon a knock 3 steps back and gain weight. So all neighbor Pokemon. So that could be like probably disperse people. Obviously has Primal Rage, so has plus 20 when on the field with Rayquaza or Groudon. And 130 Hydro Pump. So this guy has some power behind him, and 1 MP will become 2 MP. So this guy, if this is the free figure we're getting, once you get him, he will be a strong Pokemon to have. Huge attack and break energy could become really useful potentially if anybody's using energy plates. But, you know, with Cosmo Energy, we're not going to see that as much with the Deoxys buff. So this guy could definitely feature in decks once acquired. If I would say 90% guaranteed from considering the last update to having him involved in Primal Rage, I would say he's 90% guaranteed, but we'll see. I might be proved wrong. I often am. Right, so in terms of water grass, there is no water grass combinations like there was in the grass poison. So let's look at grass decks. You know, a few of us will have acquired some of these, being the last recommended booster had them in, and we had they're still in there now. So these guys are all gonna get plus 20 buff. So the interesting thing here is that in this gym, the plus 20 buff that people get in their attack powers, it can be compensated for in the water deck by Manaphy, because it's just going to do exactly the same thing. So, but there's still some definite players here that will have strengths over them because the water decks don't have. So Trevenant will be good for any grass Pokemon it's fighting, and obviously it has the ability to turn others into grass. So those water Pokemon will come turn into grass types, and that gives you the ability to move them. And when you do get this move pulling off of Trevenant in long battles, it's so good and such a strength to have a sleeping Pokemon jump over them and kind of keep them at bay. So reducing their deck size on the field. Destiny Bond, I mean, the best thing about Destiny Bond is it doesn't matter what somebody hits in attack. This Pokemon, as long as it is not 0, but this Pokemon is knocked out, and so is the battle opponent. And Smash at 110 will become 130. So remember, the Destiny Bond won't get plus 20, 0 attacks don't. Smash will become 130. So, you know, you could take a Kyogre on straight away with this, if you have a Trevenant's buff chain level and beat it. So but you're going to see Manaphy's in combination with Kyogre. So I said so like 50 times. This guy is gonna have. Let's start with Trevenant. Trevenant has Manipulative, which can turn Pokemon into grass types. But remember, when it hits Manipulative, if it's water type, it cannot move it. It only becomes grass type at the very end of the move, so you won't be able to move that Pokemon straight away. Can be a really effective move in matches when you have a lot of grass types. So if other people are running grass decks, it will still be effective. We're going to see Smash at 130. That's going to be a counter to those big hitters when they've got the plus 20 from the Manaphy attacks. And Destiny Bond, you know, doesn't matter what strength it is. As long as it's above 0, somebody's attack, you're going to knock this Pokemon out and be knocked out at the same time. So quite a good, like, defensive Pokemon to have, where, you know, you just want to, if you, let's say you got the entry points blocked. I like using my Trevenant against somebody and hoping to hit Destiny Bond. Don't care if Trevenant gets knocked out. I get somebody on the field straight away and they can't. So it will be good for that. Trevenant will be a heavy hitter, but we've got so many heavy hitters within the grass deck, being that there's a plus 20 buff. Grass Knot becomes 60. Sword of Justice becomes 121. Grass Knot will count for attacks higher than 120 damage, which will be still a really good move, seeing that people, if they are using grass types, will have a lot of plus 120 damage attacks. Sword of Justice 121 will have that strength to knock out a lot of Pokemon, and Typhoon Slash is a great attack. The ability to move over any non-flying types. We're not going to see a lot of non-flying types. Oh, I didn't talk about Gyarados. How did I miss Gyarados? I missed Gyarados because Gyarados wasn't in the material exchange, so we will come to him as well. Barazion, I think Barazion is going to be a strong type to have. Sceptile, Leaf Blade with a potential of 160 damage. Wow. And 110, just even if you hit it once. Quick attack at 50 is a good yellow attack. Stealth hit, a great move. I will be tempted to use Sceptile in a grass deck. 2 MP though, gonna miss that 3 MP from the last Gym Cup. Torterra, powerhouse, 140. Earthquake is probably one of the weaker, like kind of those type abilities. It just rarely hits. People reduce their miss disc sizes. People don't often use Pokemon with big misses other than bigger than 8, because you know all the best Pokemon don't really have that big a miss size. So it's going to be a good potential powerhouse. At 2 MP, you're going to be able to get him out. But a lot of people, when I see them using it, I see them using it on an entry point. It's really good Pokemon in that sense, though. I really like that ability. Unique, different from Trevenant, because Trevenant can't actually hold an entry point, and you can't move past it with your own Pokemon. Only once it's on the field can you make moves past this. Chestnut, 110 Hammer Arm. That's a good attack with Spike Shield at 2 stars. I like Chestnut. I really liked him in the Fighting Gym Cup, but 110 isn't going to be one of the higher attacks, and Spike Shield, although good, it just feels a vulnerability against yellow attacks. You know, Greninja can take this guy out because the purple disc is so big, and he's very vulnerable to being confused and any you know flame being burned, being paralyzed. Very vulnerable. Venusaur, Solar Beam at 150, Vine Whip at 70, Sleep Powder. Ability when on the field or poison and noxious Pokemon have MP -1. Could be a way of countering if you're going to have some Pokemon that have poison, but no, I just don't see Venusaur being good enough at 1 MP. It's really big disadvantage being 1 MP. We have Lilligant being the new. I haven't seen this Pokemon being used, but it looks like a really good attack. Cannot be confused, except it gets confused after Petal Dance. That's just confusing still. Sleep Powder, but I haven't seen this Pokemon used, so for me that's probably not going to be considered. Whimsicott, a good runner still, always good defensive holding Pokemon, but again easily taken out by a Greninja. Grovyle with the evolution. Remember, if you Grovyle then evolve into Sceptile, his attack's going to be even bigger, plus 10 attack power, and Leaf Blade is at 90 already. So Grovyle is basically a Sceptile without the stealth hit. So definitely a possibility and a good evolve to have. And at the start of your turn, instead of making an MP move, you can move this Pokemon to a spot next to an adjacent grass type Pokemon. So it could be used quite smart in matches. And wow, I think we could see a lot of evolves into Sceptile if people are using him. Leafeon, a good runner with a Razor Leaf, but you don't really use Leafeon for that massive attack. Shiftry, I'm not even going to talk about because he sucks. Phantump, again, you don't really use him for the strength. So there's a lot of good grass decks that we completed. You're gonna see grass decks are like power, and I think there's a bit more versatility in there. Water decks, just a hell of a lot of power with some Pokemon, and definitely if we bring in the final guy that's worth a mention, his name was almost left out. I almost missed him. Jesus, how can you miss this guy? Gyarados. Gyarados is gonna be a real feature in this tournament, being that a lot of people have him now, and some people even have 3 because of the last Gym Cup. Now, I made my Gyarados 120 and somebody pointed out, a lot of people pointed out that he is so vulnerable to Palkia now, being that Palkia could now hit Spatial Rend with him, and it's like, well, you can't up your Palkia, so if you up your Palkia, you're going to miss out on taking out my Gyarados. I think we will see Palkia coming into action in this Gym Cup, but I don't think you're going to see him outside of it. You know, I've seen Dialga being used, but not Palkia in the League Cups, whilst he's been available with that new added buff. So Storm going to become 2 stars, 2 MP, going to 3 MP. Magikarp's going to be 3 MP straight off the bat. You're going to be able to get into some real blocking positions where people can't really initiate attack and do much other than force evolve into a Gyarados. with Evolve, it's a Gyarados with 3 MP. Dude, this is going to be insane. 3 Gyarados on the deck, on the field, and those evolves are going to be easy to get. Those blocks, Magikarp are going to get into. They're going to be blocking entry points. Oof. You're going to need 3 Magikarp with that as well. And thankfully I didn't evolve. I nearly put one of my Magikarps into my other ones, which would have no reason. But other than to knock out another, you don't really want to be beating other people's Magikarps, do you? So you kind of want to keep his chain level low. So for me, he is going to be a big person to have in your deck. But here's why the Gym Cup. I liked the last Gym Cup, guys. Felt you could have a combination of poison and grass types. I did actually end on mainly grass types anyway. This one I think is going to be all water or all grass. You either go either way. Zapdos will probably feature, but he might not be because we've got some water deck. So I'm gonna, just off the bat, I'm gonna think of my best water deck that I pull. I genuinely think it might be that evolve. Make sure I evolve him away from Palkia. Make sure I maybe use an X attacking combination with him. Then I would be tempted to do that. That would just be insane. But then maybe 2 Manaphy. I definitely don't think I'll be running 3 Manaphy. I just don't think it's strong enough Pokemon. But to be honest, if you got it out with 2 MP and somebody hit it and they hit Manaphy's Song, you could then move. Oh wow, whoa, yeah. Actually, I think we're gonna see a real Rusho attack with Manaphy, or a real fear of attacking Manaphy. You hit a Manaphy, right? Let's say you pull Manaphy. I long throw my Manaphy out. You 3 MP, your Manaphy hits mine. I hit Manaphy's Song. My next move is gonna be for sure getting my Magikarp into a position. 3 out, then blocking an entry point, and then taking the match. Unless the person has long throw to block that, we're going to see these being used. Maybe you see Manaphy's Song being used more than it has been. I've seen Manaphy's Song used about 3 times in the whole time it's been out. So that it really is gonna. It's really gonna add a different element to the starts of matches, and we could see a few quick matches. But Palkia, is Palkia really going to feature for me? Yeah, I mean, with the Manaphy, look how strong he's going to become. 3 MP, 90 and 140 attack. So strong. And if you have him at, there might be tactical times where if somebody does pull a Venusaur onto the deck and you've got 150 attack to deal with, you could use an X attack and try to take it out and remove it from the battle. Every Gyarados is going to have 130 without any chain level. It's going to be so powerful. So there will be, I think there's going to be a lot of counter decks though, because yellow attackers are going to have strength against Manaphy. They're going to have strength against Gyarados. I think they're going to be really difficult to stop, even with Gyarados is going to have to. Zapdos is going to have to hit its Storm, and if it hits the Hyper Beam, that's game over. You've lost your yellow MP, and I might not even. I think we're going to see a lot of pure water decks. Basically, I think there's going to be a lot of pure water decks. I don't think I'll be. I think Empoleon might be my yellow disc, but then I honestly want to. I want to see 3 Empoleon out at one point, because I think there'll be a lot like Weavile, where they're just kind of freezing people all over the shop. And that's going to be awesome to see. I think we are going to see a lot of Magikarp Gyarados now. Everybody's got them. I think we're going to see Manaphy's Greninja. I just think you're only going to see one of them. I don't think you'll see 2, just without that buff, which is a shame. When the plus 20 attack comes around for water types, we'll see plenty of him. And honestly, I don't think we will see a lot of grass Pokemon decks. Yes, they're going to be powerful, but you're just not going to have the runner ability that water decks will shut your grass squads down very quickly in the opening minutes of a match, because right there I've got a pure 3 MP deck, and that is so lethal. You might be able to build some, you know, Vibrava traps to slow people down, but then even if you have prevented the pin, you're going to probably see that they're going to pull a mana fee on that's going to completely compensate for your plus 20, and they're going to be hard to get to because they're going to have a lot of heavy hitters in front of them. So that's my call is, you know, actually what for me, I think I'm going to be running a pure water deck. I will probably swap out one of these Magikarps. I don't think I want three Magikarps, just because you got to wait for them, and you probably want something that can do something at the start of a match, something like with Manaphy's Song, or maybe even a Palkia to, if somebody goes out with a Palkia, I don't know, and you just want to go to 5 matches and then maybe have them at max revive. So it's going to be really interesting. This deck is going to be, this Gym Cup is going to be very different to other ones, I think, and we might see, you know, I think usually you have a domination of new figures coming out. I don't think you're going to see this. I think you're going to see a lot of people with a lot of strong decks, which is going to make it really hard to get into that top 1,200, I think. But play strategically, and this for me is probably going to be my combination. I think this is the deck I like, because I am going to be going for those Ice Beam attacks. Very few people will probably have 3 Empoleons. Few will have 4. Nice, I can up one of those. So for me, I want to be running that type of deck where I'm freezing people left, right and centre, and also making them very afraid of attacking me and hitting Ice Beam in a very vulnerable position, backing people up, then jumping over them, isolating frozen Pokemon, having that plus 20 mana fee buff to make my Hydro Pump 110, and have those Gyarados at 130 and 140 for my up one. That's my deck. I'm not even going to go into grass Pokemon because of time, and also because I don't think we're going to see a lot of grass Pokemon featuring as much as we're going to see water. Some of them may, but yeah, a lot of water decks. Going to be exciting. I think it might be a while away. We had the last one come at a bit of a surprise, and I think they might wait a while for the next one. Possibly a week, I don't know, maybe a week, 4 days to a week. Usually we thought the last one was going to end at the end of the recommended booster, and this one, sorry, the orange boosters, and this orange booster is going to end on the 5th. No, that's not right. 5th of the 10th, 10th of the 5th, yeah, the 10th of the 5th. So we could even see it as late as the 10th of next month. But I thought I'd just get a video out because they surprised it. I was like, I really wanted to do the video. I prepared a whole thing for it, and it was too late by then. So I had to do it I still released it, but whilst it was happening, I had to change a lot. I had to redo the video basically in speaking it as if it had happened rather than was going to happen. So I'm getting this out early. So you guys, let me know what decks you're going to be running. You know, what decks you think. If you think, you know, some grass decks will feature, let me know what those grass decks will look like, what you think they will look like. And I'll try and come up with an idea of how they're probably going to be demolished by water types. 3 MP, so many runners, so hard, so quick matches potentially. But with a lot of 3MP versus 3MP, oh, it's going to be mental. A lot of surrounds, potentially. So, that's it for this video. Hopefully you're excited for the next Gym Cup. I really am. But I'm more excited for the next banner with those 37 booster tickets that's coming my way. It's going to be exciting. Okay, that's all for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit the like button and hit subscribe to keep up to date with future content. That's all from me. See you soon.